how the heck do we go from 25% body fat all the way down to a lean 15% body fat? I'm actually going to give you guys a full-on step-by-step guide on what I use for my clients. I've been coaching for over 7 years now. I've trained well over 200 people at this point. This is literally the exact strategy that I use for them. So I figured I'd just give you guys all the free sauce. First step we're going to do, we're going to get right into it. I want you to gather your data. And what do I mean by this? I want you to see what is your body weight. I want you to take photos. Take photos of you relaxed from the front, the side, and the back. And then take flexed photos as well. Front, side, back. Show your upper body, show your legs, get a true starting point with where you're at. This is going to be super hard and super painful for a lot of people, but I noticed that one of the biggest regrets, not just for myself, but for a lot of my clients, is that we don't take enough photos, especially when you're starting out the journey, because the goal is to actually succeed. It is not to mentally create this theoretical of, well, if I succeed, I'll do this. It's like, no, we're actually going to succeed. Let's see where your starting point is. A lot of people hate it. You probably are going to hate it. It's something that you'll want to do anyways because that's something you just don't want to regret in the long run. Take photos, relaxed and flexed, track your body weight, see what your starting point is at. And then the other piece of data that I want you guys to collect is your goals. What specifically do you want to achieve? What are the numeric things? Maybe it is like, oh, well, I want to lose 50 pounds. Okay. 50 pounds sounds good. I want to lose a certain percent of body fat. I want to bench a certain amount of weight in the gym. Maybe you're like, hey, I just want to lean out. Maybe I want to get to 15% body fat. Maybe I just want to look better, like a better version of myself. Whatever. Get very specific on what you want. And then I want you to write down why you want it. This is going to be important for later in the video as well. Why the heck are you doing what you're doing right now? Why are you motivated for this? Is it to spend more time with your kids, to have the health to spend that time with your kids, to create those memories? Is it to not be a burden when you guys are going to Disneyland because you know you can't keep up, because you're out of shape, you're out of breath, you know you can't hang with the rest of the family, especially the young ones? Is it to possibly be a role model for the rest of your family? Because everyone else is out of shape, you realize you're out of shape, and you want to step out of that. You want to help be a positive influence on everybody else. What is your actual reason for doing this? Maybe it's a confidence thing. Maybe it's completely personal. Hey, I've had no confidence my whole life. I've struggled with a lot of this stuff. I feel like a lonely person. I feel like having a more confidence will help bring me out of my shell. I feel like this will make me feel like the best version of myself. Write down why you're doing what you're doing. That's going to be our data collection. Body weight, photos, and goals. Next step is going to be actually starting to get there. We're going to start tracking your food. How the heck do we track food? Well, I'll make it simple for you. The most accurate way of tracking your food is by weighing it. So you can go to Amazon, Walmart, whatever, little mini food scale, and we're going to practice weighing our food. There's usually some sort of serving size. There's plenty of apps that you can take a picture of the barcodes. All you want to do is get used to seeing what you are eating. You're going to weigh your food. You're going to track it. You're going to see day to day how many calories you're eating. You can even just take pictures of it day to day, and that way you get an idea of what you're doing. But once you start to see those numbers add up, most people realize they're not eating nearly what they think they are. They're not nearly as accurate as what they think they're eating. A lot of people say, well, I barely eat anything. And then all of a sudden they're 250 pounds, 300 pounds. They're extremely overweight, and they don't realize that they have been eating a bunch of stuff. They didn't realize a 2-liter Coke had a bunch of calories in it every single day. You know what I mean? So we're going to start tracking our food. We're going to weigh it, and because that's going to be the most accurate measurement. And then we are going to find our maintenance calories. Our maintenance calories are essentially, what are the calories that we have to eat? What is that threshold that we have to eat at to just stay at the same weight? I know you're like, how the heck, why would I want to stay at the same weight? It's not to stay at the same weight. It is to understand where your starting point is at. What you can do is there's plenty of calculators online. Type in your height, your weight, your age, maybe your activity level. It'll give you a rough estimate of where exactly to place your calories. Eat at that number for about 7 days. Track everything you're eating and make sure you're lined up as close to that number as you can. If your body weight is going up, you are eating in a surplus. If your body weight is trending down, you are eating in a deficit. Your goal is to try to see if you can keep your body weight approximately the same. In this case, we're trying to lose fat. We're going from 25% down to 15% body fat. We are trying to make the scale drop. So if you are in a deficit, that is the goal. You might have to play with it a little bit. As a coach, that's literally what I'll do for my clients. We want to see what works first, and then we make the adjustment from there. Okay? So once you get an idea of where your maintenance calories are at, you're going to set it anywhere between a 200 to 500 caloric deficit. So if your maintenance calories is 3,400, you can drop all the way down to 3,000, and you want to try to aim for that goal every single time and not surpass 3,000 calories. That's going to be the first step as far as actually understanding where your diet's going and in the right direction. As far as the tracking food goes, you'll want to front load protein. You don't want to neglect fiber. Carbs are not the devil. Fat is not the devil. It makes things so much easier when you are front loading the protein and the fiber, because it's going to keep you more satiated. You're going to have cleaner bowel movements. Your gut health will be healthier. Your gut health will run more efficiently. And you're just going to have a much easier time actually melting this fat off. Okay. Next, you want to build your workout. So how the heck are we going to build a workout program? In your case, start with a realistic amount of days during the week that you can actually work out. Whether that is a home workout, whether that is going to a gym, it does not matter. Doing something is the goal. So let's say 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, perfectly work for you. In your case, you could try a couple of different things. You can try full body workouts, meaning you're going to try to hit every muscle group, or you could try an upper lower split, meaning one day you're going to hit your upper body muscles, the next day you're going to hit your lower body muscles. The day after, you're going to hit your upper body again, and you'll just be undulating that. You'll be switching back and forth with that. Find however many days you can do, find a workout split that works for you, and then go from there. The goal is to progressively overload. You want to add 1 rep to each exercise that you do at the same weight, or with those exercises, you want to add weight. So you're either pushing heavier or pushing more every single time. Better form, better mind-muscle connection. The goal is to actually push yourself. Don't just go through the motions all the time. That's going to be the progressive overload. That's going to be the workout side of things. Muscle is, I know a lot of people can be negligent or not the biggest fan of exercise. The muscle is going to help you lose fat in the long run so much easier. The more muscle you have on your body, the more calories you are passively burning. This is your basal metabolic rate. Remember how we found those maintenance calories? Essentially, if we literally just cloned you, one of you had 20 more pounds of fat, the other had 20 more pounds of muscle. If you guys were just sitting here all day, the one with 20 more pounds of muscle would be burning way more calories than the one with 20 more pounds of fat. That is why muscle is beneficial for you. Not to mention the longevity aspect of it as well. As you age, it just becomes easier to do things, to create memories, to stay safer, to not break your hip, that sort of thing. As far as the next step goes, we are going to want to increase your activity level. What exactly are we going to do with this? With your activity, the absolute easiest way of going about this, because you already have your workouts in place, you're already starting to eat healthier, you're already starting to pay attention to how much you're eating. The easiest way to increase your activity level is through steps, getting your steps in. You might have heard that before. Right now, there's a high chance you're probably more sedentary than the typical person. The goal would be to, if you can aim for, as a woman, anywhere between about 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day, that would be absolutely phenomenal. That's actually a little bit on the high end. As a man, if you can aim for anywhere between 8,000 to 12,000 steps a day, that works for you as well. The goal is to move more. You might have heard, move more, eat less, that's how you lose weight. Yes, this is where you start to sneak in that moving more part. You're not burning as many calories as you think in the gym. The gym is more so your long-term investment. The steps are more like a short-term investment that starts to add up a lot faster over time. With those steps, you have a variety of ways you can do this. You can pace your house, play some music, vacuum, whatever you're doing. Listen to YouTube. You're probably watching this on YouTube. Watch a YouTube video while you're walking around your house. Go on a walk. Walking is a great way to de-stress anyway. Walk around your neighborhood, walk around the block, that sort of thing. So many ways that you can sneak activity in there without it having to be a huge stress, especially if you go on a 10-minute walk after you eat a meal, like a breakfast, a lunch, a dinner, and then you go on a 10-minute walk. you're already in the right progress, because you are cleaning out your digestion. It's going to be easier to digest the food. You're moving. You're going to be less lethargic. You are more likely to be productive, therefore, afterward. So on top of the activity level, that's going to be a huge one. That's going to be a sneaky one for most people. If you can stay consistent with that, that will start to melt fat off way faster than it would be if you just did only the other things. Like I said, we're trying to be efficient here. We're trying to do this as fast as possible, but in a sustainable way. The next one is going to be sleep. Sleep is super underrated. Everybody always says, "Oh, well, I'll sleep when I'm dead," or "sleep is for the weak," or whatever. No, that's not true at all. In fact, sleep is actually the best possible way to recover your body, let yourself repair. And you'll notice too that the more sleep you get, you decrease your ghrelin hormone and your cortisol. Ghrelin hormone being the hunger hormone, cortisol being the stress hormone. So we want both of those on a much lower level than where you probably were at when you started this. So by getting more sleep, you're going to put your body in much better position to perform, not just physically, but cognitively, for work, for your kids, for your family, that sort of thing. What you want to do to get good sleep, it's easy to say, hey, just get better sleep, but not everyone knows how to do that or what to do about that. In order to get better sleep, what you want to do is, first and foremost, keeping a cool room. That's going to be the number one thing. Keep your room cool. 67 to 69 degrees is like the perfect, ideal, optimal temperature for your room. If that works for you, that works for you. If it's slightly cold, up it. If it's slightly warm, drop it. You're going to have to find what you feel best, what works best for you, and especially if you have a spouse with you or something like that. White noise is going to be good as well. A fan in the background, not necessarily TV. That's going to be a huge mistake, because we want white noise as in, maybe you can play, I know there's certain apps where they'll play like a waterfall or rainforest noises, or just tell like quiet poetry as you're falling asleep, and then it'll shut off within 15, 20, 30 minutes of you listening to it. That is a phenomenal way of hearing white noise. Fans are usually the best because it's just one clean sound all the way through the night. That's going to be huge. The dark room is going to be huge as well. Like I said, people love leaving their TVs on and listening to stuff. Yes, that is still technically a form of noise, not an ideal noise, because there are still words being said. Your brain is still hearing those things. And that light as well, that blue light is flashing on your eyes as you were trying to sleep, like those eyelids. Just because your eyes are closed doesn't mean there isn't flashing there still. So we're minimizing blue light. We're keeping the room cool. As far as food and water goes, you want to make sure that you start sipping water within an hour before bed. You're not trying to chug a bunch of stuff. You're trying to slow it down on the water, because you're not trying to get up and use the restroom in the middle of the night. That's something that a lot of my clients, myself, I had huge issues with that in the past, because we're not used to drinking so much water. You're trying to get hydrated. You have that habit going, and now all of a sudden you're disrupting your sleep because you had too much right before bed. Same thing goes with food. Try to keep carbs lower at night. That's usually when temptation strikes anyway, but we're not trying to spike our insulin levels, which, same thing, will just send us to the restroom in the middle of the night. And now we're disrupting our sleep. Some of us are stressed out. It's tough to get back to sleep. Now it's just it's a negative cyclical effect that we're trying to avoid with that. So keep food at a minimum between 2 hours before bed, or within 2 hours before bed. And then water will be about 1 hour before bed. Just try to keep it at a minimum with that. The next thing, the most important thing in this whole entire process, is going to be the consistency part. If it were easy to go from 25% body fat all the way down to 15% body fat, we would all already be there. We would all be there, because it can be simple. It is not necessarily easy to do. And that's where most people fail. Most people, right as it gets hard, right as it gets uncomfortable, that's where people drop off, and that's where they quit. In your case, staying consistent is going to be the most important part to this. If you fall off, you got busy at work, the kids are sick, you went on a vacation, you had a work trip, whatever happened, you are going to have setbacks regardless. The goal is not to be perfect 100% of the time, because that is extremely unrealistic. Even for me as the coach, I am not perfect 100% of the time. I am realistic 100% of the time. When you screw up, backtrack, digress, whatever, you are just going to hop right back on track, right back to your normal calories, right back to your normal lifting schedule, right back to your normal step count. We're still going to be trying to get good sleep in. Don't freak out and don't punish yourself. So many of my clients in the past, they'll screw up And then they want to punish themselves. Oh, I need to do less calories. I need to do more work. I need to do X, Y, and Z and all these extra things in order to make up for what I screwed up with in the first place. You don't need to do all of that. You just need to get back on track, realize it might take you a few days, maybe a week to start seeing progress again. That's the name of the game. The more that you can keep a level head, the more that you can keep a cool head throughout this whole process, everything becomes so much easier. You have to be patient, you have to be willing to put the work in, and then you have to stay consistent with it. I like to say you have to work harder, then smarter, and then give it a timeline. That is one of the best things that you can do. And if you can realize that right off the bat, you're going to have so much more of an easier time actually getting there. That is a brief run through of the step-by-step guide on how you actually want to go from 25% body fat down to 15% body fat. If you follow every single one of these steps, you will be golden. Now, of course, if you want to get more specific on your specific journey, weight loss journey, fat loss journey, and you want to get to 15% body fat with your numbers and your personalized results in tracking, feel free to fill out the one-on-one coaching application in my description down below. It's a type form application. Let me in on what you're struggling with, what your goals are, what's got you excited to get started with this fitness journey. I'll reach out to you. I'll see what I can do for you. Okay. If there are any other questions, be sure to drop them in the comments down below. And if you found any value in this video, be sure to drop a like on it as well. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.